Basically, like the amount of people who like are executed versus the amount of like homicides that exist, like it's a very like they're two very different numbers. So it's not even like you can argue like, oh, this is deterring homicides and we're getting justice for victims because it's like only a very small percentage of like homicide cases. Like and in an execution, and on top of that, like such a small percent ends in like a conviction. Like they're cold cases for a reason, and there are so many of them. So like you can't even be like, oh, this is a really effective tool at doing whatever. It's like no, it just kind of looks like it's a thing for show that politicians can be like, see how tough I am on crime, I kill
Right.
people.
Right. See how tough I am? I can murder people.
But that really, honestly, if you watch like some of these campaigns, like especially in places where people are very like, oh yeah, let's just string them up and like do whatever, like those really are the campaign promises that get voters voting booths, and
Yeah.
it's crazy.
That I mean, yes, 100% true. That gets people at like so you didn't hear this song because this is pre-recorded. But one of the songs that is going to be playing during the intro tomorrow, when this comes out, is from this band, the Narcissist's Cookbook.
Okay.
And he's from England, I think. And I messaged him on Facebook and I was like, dude, can I use your music? And he goes, yeah. I was like, great,
Mm.
thanks, man. I mean, I complimented it a lot. I was like, man, I really love your music. I've been listening to this album on repeat, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, oh, thanks, man. And I was like, yeah, can I use it in my podcast? He went, yeah. But he has this, he's got this one song, and it's called David. And in it,
Mhm.
he's like, the reason that the that Daily Mail Online is the number one read English news source is because they have figured out a way to tap into your dopamine and other endorphins in your brain by causing fear,
Mm.
right? And politicians do the exact same thing. And the reason that it works is because fear uh, simulates the exact same feeling you have from being really happy.
Mm.
So, like crappy horror movies, people enjoy those because at the end it makes you feel good. Like you may be scared during the movie, but at the end you still enjoy the feeling. Um, so so that's why that's why horror movies are so successful. It's because people like to go, they like to feel the fear that they get induced inside of them, and then it actually gives you somewhat of a high. The Daily Mail Online, as well as CNN and Fox News and MSNBC, do the
Mhm.
exact same thing. They try to instill a fear inside of us from watching, like CNN constantly. Trump is bad. Trump is committing the camps down at the border are much like the concentration camps. They try to instill these visions of fear. Where Fox News, they go after people that look like Muhammad a lot, and
Yeah.
and they're like, oh no, he was a dangerous Muslim. Or when Barack Obama and Michelle were doing the fist pounding thing, and they called it like a terrorist bump or whatever the crap they called that, and they do
Yeah.
those and they do those things in order to instill fear in the viewers because it makes them come back because it gives them a high. Politicians do the exact same thing when they're out there on the campaign trail. Donald Trump did it fantastically because like xenophobia was one of his main things, and he was talking about the murderers and the rapists that were coming across the border. And I don't remember the girl's name in San Francisco who was killed.
I know who you're talking about, but
Right.
I
I
totally
can't
forget
remember
her.
her name.
It's like Kate
Something.
something.
Yeah. But he,
Sorry.
you're fine. I didn't know it either. I didn't know I was going to go down this rabbit hole that I'm going down. But
No, now we're already here.
right, but we're here and that's what's going to happen. But so they they instill this fear, yeah, in order to scare you, but also because they know that you're going to get a rush of dopamine and endorphins that are going to simulate being high or being happy. So you'll constantly come back and you'll want more.
Mm.
So Yeah, politicians will go out and they'll say things like, "Yeah, I support the death penalty. I'm strong on the death penalty. I'm strong on defense. I'm strong on
Yeah,
criminal reform, or criminal justice, not reform,
yeah,
because not there's like two that are strong on criminal reform." But they do these things and they say these things because they know you're going to get a high out of it, and you're going to be like, "Oh, I want to hear more of what this guy is saying."